August the 16th, 2025, we have a massive card taking place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and it's going to be a very, very interesting headline act. We have one of the big stars of, let's just say, the previous generation of heavyweights against arguably the hottest prospect in boxing, and a man who many people believe is going to be the figurehead of this new generation of heavyweight. But before we talk about that particular fight, we do have a fairly stacked undercard, it has to be said. It really truly does. Let's have a little talk, and I'll give my 2 cents, and I'll even give some cheeky pre-fight predictions on this undercard. Let's talk about it here. So, starting first on this show, we have Nick Ball versus Sam Goodman. This will be for Nick Ball's WBA featherweight world title. He should be really a unified champion after the Ray Vargas fight last year, but he is the current reigning and defending WBA 126-pound champion. Nick Ball is a interesting fighter because even by featherweight standards, he is very small, even by featherweight standards, but he fights like a man who's not eaten in days and is fighting for a paycheck. That is really how he fights. He's very ferocious, he's very aggressive, highly entertaining fighter. He came up on the small hall scene. So with Nick Ball, this is a fighter who, in many ways, he was not, I don't want to say he wasn't thought of as much, but he didn't turn pro with the fanfare of, we'll say, a Moses Itauma, who was on this card as well. All the more impressive, I think, for Nick Ball. All the more impressive. He's in there against Sam Goodman. Well, Sam Goodman comes into this fight with an undefeated 20-0 record. Sam Goodman was actually meant to fight Naoya Inoue on, I think it was Christmas Eve last year was when the original date was penciled in. He actually suffered a cut in the run-up to that fight, so they actually rescheduled the fight for January 20th. However, as is often the case when you suffer a cut, you can't properly train, you can't properly prepare. So ultimately, he had to pull out of that fight altogether. So he didn't actually fight Naoya Inoue. There are a lot of people out there who I think wish they didn't have to fight Naoya Inoue, to be honest with you. But Sam Goodman seems a good talent. Again, he's coming up from 122 pounds to fight Nick Ball at 126. Personally, for me, as good as Sam Goodman is, I think Nick Ball he's just something altogether different. So I'm going to go with Nick Ball to win this fight, probably on points. Also on this card, we have Raymond versus Abraham Nova. Now, this was not the original opponent. It was meant to be Ray Ford versus Anthony Cacace. Anthony Cacace recently, only in the last fortnight, pulled out of this fight, stating a back injury, I believe it was. Now, Cacace has talked very much about wanting to be in these big fights, wanting to go, have the big dates out, whether it be Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, whether it be in America, against the cream of the crop. So he wouldn't pull out of this fight unless he had good reason, in my opinion. Ray Ford, although he lost against Nick Ball, a lot of people feel as though he did do enough to win that fight. He has looked very good at 130 pounds, extremely good. Abraham Nova, I've seen a couple of his fights. I remember when he fought Rebasio Ramirez back a couple of years ago, he stopped in 5 rounds in that fight. Coming in as a late replacement is not ideal against someone the caliber of Ray Ford, who I think is tremendously talented. And as I said, he has the one loss there. Many people believe that should have actually been a win. And, Ray Ford has been there, seen it and done it. He's looking brilliant at this weight. I can't see anyone stopping Ray Ford at the minute, and I don't think Abraham Nova will be. Ray Ford, I'm going to say stoppage, wins this fight. Then we have a fight that, in the nicest way, is, for me, a little bit of a head scratcher, just with regards to the trajectory of both fighters. So, we have Filip Hrgovic, who's coming in off the back of a win over Joe Joyce, and prior to that lost a fight to Daniel Dubois, which that loss aged pretty well, considering the fact that Daniel Dubois only recently just lost to Alexander Usyk in an undisputed heavyweight title fight. A fight in which Hrgovic was having a lot of success in his fight with Dubois before ultimately getting stopped. Beating Joe Joyce, as I said, avenging a loss from the amateurs. To now go in there against David Adeleye, who is just coming off the back of a win over Jamie TKV, in a fight in which was very competitive, and Adeleye really had to pull it out. This is a strange one for me because Hrgovic at world level is a bit of a known quantity. We know what we're going to get from Filip Hrgovic. We know what he's like. We know what he's about. David Adeleye has never fought, and he's only recently just fought at British level. He's never really gone past that. When he did step up against Fabio Wardley, who is now, we can say, fringe world level, if not world level, he was resoundingly beaten. Has he improved enough? Although under Adam Boot, he is looking quite good. It is still a very strange fight, given the trajectories in both guys' respective careers. I really have to make Filip Hrgovic a resounding favourite against David Adeleye, although Adeleye does hit very hard. He really does. But Filip Hrgovic, I think, has shown that if he doesn't have the best, it's right up there with one of the best chins in the heavyweight division. This guy has shifted punishment from Daniel Dubois. This guy has shifted punishment from Zhilei Zhang. This guy has been in there with some of the biggest punchers in the division. And no one's been able to put a dent in him. So, based upon that, listen, if you're taking Zhilei Zhang's left hand, I don't think David Adeleye has much to trouble you with. Although saying that, this is heavyweight boxing and you just never know. My pick for this fight is that Filip Hrgovic wins a mid-round stoppage. Now, you may remember at the start of this video, I talked about the new generation of heavyweights versus the old. Well, in a main event, we really have that. Dillian Whyte, who is a man who, in his prime, pay-per-view star. Pay-per-views against Joseph Parker, Derek Chisora, and most others. Tyson Fury at Wembley Stadium, we all remember that. Alexander Povetkin, etc. That was a few years ago now. Since then, Dillian Whyte has got older. He has had some performances that haven't exactly flattered, to say the least. Whereas Moses Itauma, 20 years of age, attempted to break Mike Tyson's record, wanted to break Mike Tyson's record as youngest heavyweight champion. It didn't happen. It didn't help that, you really only had one champion, who's Alexander Usyk. So if you can't get him, then you ain't got to fight for a title. It's as simple as that. Itauma has looked, the eye test, he's passed it. He's looked fast, he's looked explosive, he's looked devastating. Really liking what I see with Moses Itauma. Dillian Whyte has probably forgotten more about boxing than Itauma has learned this far in his career. Dillian Whyte has done it the hard way. He's been on the small hall scenes. He's been the away fighter. He has come up the really, really hard way. And again, with a limited amateur background as well, Dillian Whyte didn't have an extensive amateur career. So to do what he's done and to achieve what he has achieved, albeit he's never won a heavyweight title, but to challenge for it on, as I said, one of the big stages imaginable, it's credit to him. I think right now, Dillian Whyte is definitely past his best. Itauma is looking phenomenally good, and he's probably 5 or 6 years away from actually getting to his best, which is a very scary thought, really, when you consider how good and how polished he looks now. For me, this is a real passing of the guard. This is out with the old, in with the new in the nicest possible way. I think Moses Itauma is going to light Dillian Whyte up early and probably stop him within 4 rounds. And I kid you not, that's what I'm thinking. I don't think this fight lasts any longer than 4 rounds. Dillian Whyte, however, he is looking lighter. He is a veteran, and veterans have a way of just figuring things out. Could Dillian Whyte spring an upset? He certainly has power, in particular in the left hook. We've never seen Itauma get chin checked. We don't know how good that chin is, but I suspect we won't fight out in this fight. My pick for this fight is a Moses Itauma win inside 4 rounds. But I could be completely wrong on this. Let me know in the comments section on this Ring Magazine video what you guys think. I think that we are in for a treat on this card. I think we have a lot of really, really good fights. We have a lot of interesting fights as well. And my picks are Nick Ball, Ray Ford, Filip Hrgovic, and Moses Itauma. I know everyone on the house side seems to be winning, but that's how I see it going. Let me know yours. We're due an upset in one of these fights. Which one is it? Let me know. I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the Ring Magazine's YouTube channel. Thank you for locking in, and until next time, peace.